So those are the necessity things. But once we have the pews out, you have the opportunity to bring lifts in and do something with the ceiling. If the pews were still here, you'd have to build pretty extensive and expansive and expensive staging. So if you look up, what we're going to be doing is all those sprinkler heads will be replaced with recessed ones. They won't totally disappear, but you won't see them like you can see them now. And then we'll have to replace or fix some of the pieces that have fallen down, especially this one up here, that you can see that it's failed. And then on the top of the ceiling, in the 5 different sections that you see, there'll be faux molding that will be put up around the edges, so it would look more like a finished coffered ceiling. And after this is like decorating your house. You fix one thing and then we might as well do that at the same time. We're going to make some renovations in the sanctuary that will make the sanctuary handicapped accessible. So we do that by dropping by one stair, and there'll be a ramp that will be built here. So in case they don't let me retire when I hit 70, somebody can wheel me in to keep the place going. And the centerpiece of the new sanctuary will be in what they call the reredos, or that screen that's behind the president's chair. We were lucky enough to find a gorgeous stained glass window of Christ the King. It's coming from a church that closed in Lawrence, Sacred Heart Church. And it has Christ the King and 2 angels on either side. And it would be lit from the back, because that's not an outside wall. But that would be the crown piece in the sanctuary. We do have to make some changes in the choir area. You are not code compliant right now. So we need to make some adjustments over there. And a pretty significant thing we're going to do is both the tabernacle and the baptismal font are not as prominently displayed as they can be. So what we're going to be doing is moving the tabernacle. Actually, it will be a different tabernacle that will have 4 sides to it, somewhere around where the servers are seated. And that same sanctuary lamp that's there will be suspended from the ceiling and will be electrified and shine on the tabernacle. So it'll be very visible at all times. And the baptismal font, this one here, is going to move into the chapel. Actually, that tabernacle is moving into the chapel as well. The baptismal font will be there for baptisms that we have in the chapel, but the baptismal font will be located right inside the front entrance of the church. They do that in a lot of churches. You see it in Europe sometimes. You see it in our own cathedral in Fall River, where it becomes symbolic of entering the church through baptism. In order to rectify some of the design, you see that my homily is up here on the top because it can't be down there because I can't see it. We'll be just doing some modifications to the altar and to the ambo so that it will reflect the cherry wood that will be the benches, but also the screen or reredos as well. So that's about it in a quick review. You're going to be able to see it before. It's not going to all happen until January, when a lot of you snowbirds leave, and we are at our lowest point in attendance, so that we will move to the hall for January, February, and March. We might be able to use the chapel for some of that, but we have the lovely problem of having too many people at daily mass. But January, February is the lowest. I know that we're not doing it until January, but we want to try to collect the money now, especially while you snowbirds are here. And I know this is change, and change is difficult for a lot of people. But change is also can be exciting, and we can look to the future as we have this campaign that's called Renewing God's House. But don't forget the summer sermon. During that over here, reminded me that I forgot something about the advantage of lowering the sanctuary by one step and shortening the steps, that they'll be safer. A few years ago, she fell and broke her hip right over the stairs. And when we have readers who are not familiar with the sanctuary, for weddings and funerals, they often go down. That's why we put that kind of unsightly banner up, but that doesn't even stop them. They're kind of so nervous that they go down as well. And I don't think I mentioned that in addition to priests in wheelchairs, lectors in wheelchairs will be able to come into the sanctuary. Bob Barker over here used to be a lector at a former parish I had, a very good lector. So I expect to sign him up again come April, perhaps.